There, we're done.
Now what
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our live launch day webinar with me, Karen McDermott, and the wonderful author extraordinaire of Twins, Double Trouble, Double Treat, Annie Gibbins. Welcome, Annie.
Thank you for having me, Karen. I'm super excited today. As you know, launch the Twins.
It's launch day. I have to say, I absolutely adore your book. I adore your honesty and your insights, and also the way that you articulate it. It's so light and heartfelt, and yet you're going, oh wow, but you can. It's so relatable. And I don't have twins, but I can't even begin to imagine what it was like having two sets of twins in 26 months. Can you share with us a little insight into that, how that was?
Oh, it was just mind-blowing craziness, excitement all in one, right? Like in one way you just go, oh my gosh, we're like the chosen ones. I was like 23 years old and go, wow, first baby. You're thinking, how's the whole pregnancy thing going to go? And then you get told you're having twins. It's like, oh my gosh, like we're just like so special. And then you go from all that excitement, overwhelm to, oh my gosh, but we don't feel very old. We don't feel very mature. We don't actually know what we're going to do. And then, to go through that whole experience, which I just loved unpacking in the book. And then, when they were 14 months old, my boys, we find out we're having twins again. And you just go like, oh my gosh, like this is going to be mental. So you suddenly realize you're actually in this live comedy because everyone else laughs at you. Like it is funny and scary all at the one time, right? So then suddenly we have like 4 in 26 months. And by then I'm only 25 and I'm like, we're just doing life and we're just laughing at ourselves and then battling through, massive sleep deprivation, not knowing really what we're doing, but we're having a ball as well, and I think that's what we learned very early on is just to roll with it, just to have fun with it, because even when you try too hard, like you have those days, I'm going to be such a good mum today, and I'm going to get it all right. And like, you just set yourself up to fail because life happens, right? And then you just go, I'd make it to like 10 o'clock and then one of the kids is like, snotted on something or vomited on something or fallen over on something. And you just go, oh, wow. And so you either choose to go epic fail every day, or you go, this is just a crazy life. This is life. With kids, and you just go, let's just bring out the very best and let's learn along the way and have fun with it. And that's what we did.
And you do prioritize joy. And Guy, you survived and your kids survived. So hey, all good. One of the things in reading your book that I really connected with, and it's how I parent as well, is it's all done through absolute unconditional love. You just love your kids, you love nurturing them, you have a love-fueled household. And doesn't that help your children grow and into the flourish, really?
Oh, so much. It just brings out the best in any human, just to love them unconditionally. And I think a lot of us go, yeah, we love them unconditionally. Like you think you do, but do you really? When you have a number of children, particularly, you realize just how diverse they are, and ours are like it just constantly amazes us as parents, how you think, oh, because they're ours, they'll be like us. And then because you're raising them with all your fantastic parenting skills, they'll all be a certain way. And like, oh my gosh, like talk about the whole nature versus nurture thing. It's just constantly amazes us on how uniquely different and individual they are. And with that means that you're going to have to, have a very sort of specific way of the rules and the way what's accepted in your, your morals and your values in your household, but also very, very different children. As ours grew up, who went to performing arts school compared to, academically gifted school, compared to who does different sports, and who do you make do that sport because it's convenient when they really want to do something else, play an instrument. There's so many times that you go, I love you, but I think as our journey went on, you go, you're really going to have to just tap into who these little humans are, and particularly with twins, because a lot of people default and they just call them the twins. So you're instantly packaged. And so I think for more than the average for us, we actually went, right, we're going to have to really bring out their uniqueness. And that's going to have to make us dig deep to really tap into that and to support them and affirm them in who they are unconditionally, even though that's actually really challenging. It is challenging to do that, right?
It is absolutely, because they grew together within you. They were born out of you, but yet they come out so different. And you have five children altogether, Annie. So two sets of
Mhm.
twins and one individual. So it's like, you got to find your way and what's right for your family. It's the same for everyone, whether you have one child or
Oh,
10 children.
exactly.
All the kids are going to be, and you got to not. I find for parenting, and you probably find the same, that you can't put your desires for them onto them. You've got to let them find their way and kind of guide them with what their interests are, and let them be curious.
Yeah. And that curiosity will take them in such different directions. And some of it you might identify with and get excited. And other times you actually go, I don't even get it. I don't dig what they're into. Right. And that is a really big mind shift, So you just like, where did this kid get this? One of mine, like, is an opera singer. And you're just like, oh, and everyone goes, who does she take after? I'm like, neither of us. I please don't ask me to sing. And you just go, but she loves it. And you've got to nurture those talents and you've got to support it. And that's right. It's not always natural for you to do that. It's easier for you to favor, which we do with our friends and the things that we're doing. We favor what we identify with. But that's right. That's the deep mystery of parenting, that you actually go, no, they're all going to be quite different, and you've got to really support that. Otherwise, they won't be happy. And what do we want as parents? Happy, healthy future adults, human beings, right? Who just felt that they connected. And I think that's one of the strongest thing. And that's why I've written this memoir in this sort of way. It's very much the voice of Annie. My whole brand and my whole style and the way I live life is actually just be real, just be authentic, share it as it is. There's ups and downs, there's incredible achievements of what you can do in life. And there's also, like, oh my gosh, moments you go, seriously, how long do I have to survive in today? Because I'd really like to reboot tomorrow. And that's okay. That's all right. We just reboot. We accept things as they are. And I had those children of, one was a serious escapee, just scale anything, climb anything, just like, oh my gosh, hazard, hazard, hazard. But he's just this curious, fun spirit, and he's gone on to be, do law and engineering, and all his gifts and all those little things that he had as a 2-year-old, which drove me crazy, actually is why he likes pulling things apart, building it. He's extremely intelligent and very curious. And I had another one who just disappear. Like, you just go, oh my gosh, where's Sam? And you'll read about that in the book. And it's like, oh my gosh, but he was a dreamer. He just waffed off. He didn't think he was lost. He didn't think he'd done anything wrong. He was just a in the moment kind of guy, right? And so they just, in moments of parenting, you go, oh my gosh, listen to me, obey the rules, do all those things. And then other times I reflect back now and I think sometimes I was a bit too harsh on them, because it's just like, give them a little bit more leeway. It's all right to be who you are. We have to then just accept that and then just work around it. It's easier said than done, of course, in hindsight.
Annie, you've done a phenomenal job. I was reading and go, because there's so many so young under a certain age, and I get it. I absolutely get it. And you're going, as a parent, you need to keep these children alive. They're curious. They're, especially boys climbing and doing things and all the kind of stuff. And I read it and went on the journey with you. But I also feel so informed about what the logistics and even the health things around having twins. Do you want to go into that and how it's different than a single pregnancy?
Yeah, it is very different than a single pregnancy, which I didn't realize, of course, because I had twins and then I had twins and then I had a singleton. And like, seriously, if I'd done it the other way around, I would have noticed a lot bigger difference, right? And that is true. You read any twin book and you'll get, there are bigger risks because you've got two babies in there. You've got, they're all tumbled up and growing, and you're wanting to make sure that they grow at the same rate, and therefore you will be monitored more. You'll be managed more by your obstetricians, your nursing team, with all of those things, and therefore, and that's a good thing. But you don't also need to be, extremely stressed about that or worried about that. I think in our modern times, it's just so amazing. If I got through back, 30 years ago, you can definitely, it's gotten leaps and gains since then. But even the pregnancy, that's right. I remember my first ones were born in March, so I had that. I had one of those bushfire summer pregnancies, and you're so huge. Like, I was the size of a refrigerator. Like, seriously, I could just rest my dinner plate on my abdomen, which was just like so tight and just flat virtually on top. So instead of the nice little bump, it's like, whoa. And you're hot because you get overheated because you've just got this energy happening inside, and you're tired because of the load on your body. And like, that's the reality. And so what do you have to do? You either go, oh my gosh, this is just so hard, or you just go, I can't do as much. I'm just going to have to walk through the days. I'm going to have to spend many times just jumping in and out of that bathtub. I'm going to have to just look after myself, because you are at risk of, all of mine were born, 5 weeks early. So that's going to happen because of the load on your body. You'll have extra visits, monitoring with the doctor, and that's a good thing. You just want to be, wise and conscious of that, but also, be realistic with what you can do. We'll all be different as well. I was like a puker, like early days. Oh my gosh, morning sickness to death, and other people aren't. I had another condition during my pregnancy called cholestasis, when my liver got overloaded. My babies were so big for my little body, it just sort of couldn't process all their waste products. And that was really hard. Like, I was just really, really quite sick at a time. Whereas my single baby didn't get that, like there's little things that pop up. And so to realize, and I think I've written the book in that way, it's kind of like, this is my story and all my random things, and you have your own, and so you want to be aware of all the potentials. But if it doesn't happen, don't look for it, and if it does, it's probably one of the risk factors, and you just manage it, and you'll be fine. And I've had all the experiences: natural birth, Caesars, nearly one of each. You'll read that in the book. There's just so much that you just go, oh my gosh, if you can just go with the flow and feel chilled and feel supported, you'll be in a much better place.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's relaxing into it and allowing Mother Nature to do its work, and trusting it and having faith and being more calm. The more calm and peace you can be, the easier your process is. And I read in your book that you actually had a condition before you even got pregnant, didn't you?
Oh, I had
Lungs?
with my lungs.
Was it your lungs?
I
Yes.
had asthma, so I was actually, I sort of had one thing go better and one thing go worse. So
Yes.
I was a chronic asthmatic pre-children, and so it was pretty much as soon as I got stressed or overwhelmed, or I'm a bit of a full-on lady. Even if I laugh too much, I'd keel over with an asthma attack, which is quite hazardous for a giggly lady, let me tell you.
Yeah.
And so I had this sort of strong, I've got to have my and I was a bit worried about that. And many of us will relate to that. You've got a medication of some kind. How does it affect me in pregnancy and that sort of thing? Whereas this cholestasis that I got, which was, a bit rare, but more likely in multiples, I had no idea that I actually, was going to be predisposed to that. Like something that hits you in pregnancy, someone else might have, gestational diabetes, for example, that they weren't knowing. So there's so many weird things that you've got, some things that and you go, I'm going to have to be really vigilant about this. And the bizarre thing was that my asthma actually wasn't a problem. It sort of seemed to tone down. I told that to my doctor, and he says there's no reason why. But anyway, for me, it's my lived experience.
It was the universe is giving you a break, I reckon.
And another one, which I totally didn't even know, go, what is wrong with me? And they go, oh, that's this other thing. And I'm like, oh, okay. So that's it, and I think a lot of the freedom, a lot of people sort of say, Annie, you've just got so much energy and you shouldn't make it look easy. And I kind of go, well, it doesn't mean that there's challenging times. There are. It's how long you spend in that time. And like now at this stage of my life, I say fail fast and fail forward, right? And that's really easy to say now, but that's been an acquired skill that I've learned over those many, many years. And because of all those dramas, those days that you go, instead of something bad happening and it wiping out the whole day and be in a bad mood and blah, 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 you learn to just go, all right, let's just have a little break, time out. If I can't have time out, kids will go to their room. They can have time out while mummy has a cup of tea. And then we'll just refresh, because the quicker you then get back into that, right, let's just move on, the better. And that's actually been a skill that I've, paralleled all through my corporate life, right? Like it's the skills that I've learnt while being a mum of twins and 5 later on, actually so many of those generic skills have helped me be more resilient, more adaptive, quick to respond to things. I see things really clearly. I'm a scanner because one of those kids was probably jumping somewhere, falling in a fountain, hitting his sister. Like, I'm just like, whoa, what's happening here? And that's actually, you know what? I've been a CEO for the last 12 years. And what do? I assess, I manage things, I monitor outcomes, I'm strategic. I tell you what, as a mum, you've got negotiation skills, accounting skills, conflict management. Like, it's like a CEO training to actually be able to deal with the day to day. And so I want mums actually, when they read this book, not to underestimate where you're at, just to realize, you're not on a boot camp, you're just doing life. But while you're doing this, you're just growing so much. And the experiences that you have will mold you into the woman that you're becoming, right? We're all becoming ourselves in our best version. And even though things are challenging, and a lot of this journey is challenging, you actually will get to those stages and go, oh my gosh, like, I don't know if I'll get to that point of, I'm really thankful that those sort of really, really scary things happened.
Yeah. I absolutely get that.
When you go, I'm thankful because now I'm I don't know about that, but because it did, that's right. We've had life-threatening accidents or injuries or illnesses. We've had relatives die. We've had, kids having, health problems or managing different schools and choices because of their illness. Life happens. And because of that, which is unpredictable, it actually does help you in the long run. And you'll be surprised at how strong you become. It's one of those, I just give so much, praise to any family juggling, just so many children in a short period of time, and they need the love and the support. They need to feel like there's a tribe globally around them who goes, yeah, you've got it. You are enough every single day, even when you don't feel enough, because you'll have those moments. I had those moments a lot, going, oh my gosh, I don't have my shit together. Oh, sorry, you're allowed to say that on the podcast.
You're allowed to. I want to pull you back because there's so much going on there. I want to pull you back on a few things. So, because it's really important that people hear this. It's really important message, and it's a message that I'm very passionate about, is that just because you're a mum and a hands-on mum and are totally dedicated to your children, first of all, it doesn't mean that you can't dream. You can still make things happen. And second of all, it's not wasted years on a personal level or a professional level. You're actually learning so many interchangeable skills that are going to, like, I would not be able to do what I do now today, and you as well, if we didn't have these skills that we learned through motherhood, being able to, we call it plate spinning, being able to keep all these plates spinning, to be able to do, it's amazing, isn't it, Annie? Like, and I see that in you. I see that, let's just get on with it. Let's make this all happen. We've got this, and let's do it.
Yeah. Absolutely. When you're in that sort of that stage, I remember, that's been a few of my foundational aha moments, actually. I remember, I had like baby twins, breastfed 2-year-old boys going feral, and having those moments of, I just want to be, when are they going to be older? When is it going to be easier? And you're wanting to just jump time, or you're just wanting to sort of rethink. But with that, then you don't enjoy all of the moments, and there's many, even in the challenging times, there's so many millions of moments, and those kids deserve your attention as it is at that time, at all times, right? But with that, so I think that's a really important point of, don't just keep dreaming to it's going to be better when. So I think that's a real learning curve, and I could have done that better. I was constantly sort of trying to go, okay, it's going to be more manageable, or trying to look for when things were, just a little bit easier. And with that will come a lot of conversation that we could have of just really rallying your support crew and making sure people know how to help you. I was a bit more like, oh no, I can do it, because I felt like I needed to be this superwoman, and that was to my detriment. I really should have allowed people or invited them to help me more. Actually, now I'd be like, yeah, take a teeter.
Just make sure they don't disappear on you.
That's right. Watch that,
People
kid.
on a leash.
That's right. I don't know if they're qualified. It's like, oh yeah, it's a whole maintenance thing looking after a couple of my toddlers. And so I think that's really important. But also, as you touched on, Karen, it's so important to go, at the end of the day, you're just a young girl or a young woman with a dream, with hopes and dreams of who you want to become and who you're evolving into being, and what you want for the future. And that's been a lot of my journey. You know, I had dreams and aspirations in my late teens of being a businesswoman, right? And I always just went, I want to be a businesswoman. I want to create things. I want to manage things. I obviously knew I had those kind of skills naturally, but obviously would have to do qualifications and prove them and get that experience. And so while you then go, oh my gosh, like when I had the first set of twins, it's like, oh my gosh, that dream's not looking good. And by then I'd become a nurse for a whole lot of other reasons. And then I had another set. And then I remember having those crying moments with hubby going, I'm never going to be a CEO. I'm never going to do this. And that's because it just seems overwhelming and impossible. But I tell you what, the possible is there if you just go, okay, stepping stones. And that's the way I approach my life, even amongst all those kids. I enrolled at university and went, all right, I'm going to do my Masters of Education. And it might take me, 5 years, 8 years. I can do a subject to term and just chip it off. And then it allows you to have your own time, value yourself, not just their mum, introduce yourself by your name.
Fill your cup though too, isn't it? Giving a little bit to yourself, keep it up.
Get excited, go off and do a yoga class, go and do stuff that actually find yourself in your new life, right? And I think that's a whole area that it's so easy to just get lost. I was called the twins mum for seriously like 15 years. Half the people didn't even know my name, I'm sure. But it's like, oh, go and ask the twins mum. I'm like, I don't think they know my name, Annie, right? And so,
one of the things there though, Annie, with that is, these are seasons. Like, your toddlers aren't going to be toddlers forever. It's just a season. You get through it. You have those memories. You salvage what you can out of it, and then you have them transition, and you also transition too. Like, you grow into and up and out. It's amazing, isn't it? There's never a dull moment.
There is never a dull moment, and particularly those listening in, because it changes as well. Just when you think you've nailed that parenting season, they change. You just go, it's so hilarious, right? So you just go, right, they're in the perfect sleep pattern. They've got the right food and this, that, whatever. And then suddenly they then just move on to their next milestone. And it's just floors you. Like, oh my gosh. Like, what do I do now? They used to have nap time here and now they've suddenly changed it. Or they used to love this food and suddenly they chuck it everywhere. Or they'll, suddenly loved, whatever, walking, and suddenly they hit the floor and refuse to walk. Like, what's going on? And so with all of that, that's why you've got to have a bit of a
get it.
And I'll tell you what is easier and more comforting now that I'm a wise old woman and I've got granddaughters. My granddaughters are 4 and 1. And I tell you what, their tantrums are hilarious when they're not yours, like when you're a nana. And they're all normal, and they're all just milestones, and basically they're just frustrated little beings in these bodies that they want to do everything. The world is their oyster and they're the center of it. So when you actually appreciate that you've just got these frustrated little beings who just want to walk, catch, climb, explore everything. They don't know any danger, they don't know any consequences, and that's what you're managing, right? And so when you start thinking about it, that's right, does become a little bit funny, and I think you cope with it better when you just have those times out for yourself. And that's what I think we really need to learn, claim those self-care times, of even if it's just to go off and have a bath, or to go and see a friend, or to go and do something. And some of us don't even have support crews to do that, but try and find them through your mother's groups, mind each other's kids, just have those moments, even if it's only short. Just take small bite size. Sometimes is better than one long time. So, but it actually allows you to go, I've just got to be, just that break. I think there's so many women who just live in that state of overwhelm and exhaustion. And it is exhausting, particularly when you're at the feeding stage. Oh my gosh, you just sit there on that couch, feed. And,
with twins, like, it's double feeding, it's like, what? And if you're breastfeeding, holy moly. Right, we're talking. We're going to get moving on. We have some comments here. So Lisa Benson says, wow, such a rare experience. So many people will be intrigued to hear your story. Congratulations, Annie.
Thank you, Lisa.
And we have Kez joining us. Hey, Kez. Love the book. An amazing supportive memoir. A very real story. Amazing.
Oh,
It is.
fantastic.
It is so fun. It's so fun. So we've got. Let me just count. I'm counting chapters here. We have 23 chapters in this book, and I want to go just quickly to chapter 21, which we were just kind of touching on there. Juggling babies and dreams. Can you just touch a base on that first?
Yeah, I think what that's about is saying you're juggling babies and you're juggling this new life, this experience
Yeah.
that you could never have planned for, that you're in and you're immersed and you're busy, busy, busy. And with that, I also very much want, particularly mums and dads who are reading this book and for their carers to actually realize that, your dreams are really important. You're here for your whole life. You were born on this planet to be you to the best of your ability. And to actually fulfill and achieve those hopes and dreams were put into your heart for a reason. And I think a lot of that can get lost when we just go, oh, now I'm a mum, or now I'm the twins mum, and you just sort of get locked into this role. But beyond the role is actually just you as a human being. And I think spending more time just dreaming about the impossible. My dream, which I'll share, and when you read my book, you'll just go, wow, I mean, seriously, if I can get married at 20, have twins at 23, twins at 25, and then still manage to navigate 3 degrees and become a CEO and now run 4 businesses. If I can do that, and I seriously don't think I'm that amazing. I'm not the smartest person. I'm pretty quirky and out there. I have a lot of fun. But like, seriously, anything is possible. Is it possible overnight? No. But if you have a dream for something, whether it's painting, art, writing books, managing a business, becoming an entrepreneur, actually just getting a specific role, being a musician, whatever it is, we all are born as human beings with these desires in our hearts. And that is the most important thing, to just start layering that up as you do your mum journey, is my advice. Mums and dads, to actually go, I am more than the twin mum or twin dad. And so, because as we said, there's seasons and they will come, and suddenly you'll blink and you'll be like me and go, oh my gosh, like how did now they've just even finished uni, and I'm like going, oh my gosh, I still remember them in their little, cute little school uniforms when they were at kindy, and life goes by very quickly, although it feels slow at the time. And then you are, your relationship deserves more as well as yourself. So you've got yourself, you've got your relationships, you then got your relationships with your kids. It's about bringing out the very best in yourself. So I think my advice is to never play that down. Always hope for it. Don't get too frustrated with yourself, because you'll be then like your little toddlers. You want to do more than you can actually do. Be kind to yourself. But really, I call it, leaning into your empowered future. That's my lovely way of saying
Oh,
it.
I love that.
Leaning into your
I love
empowered,
that.
because for me, that's what it was like. It was like, I'm leaning in by going off to a uni class. I'm leaning in by connecting with some people who are interested in the same conversation as I was, that some of my playgroup mums might not have. I liked the people I learnt. I leaned in by becoming fitter and healthier, which was actually better on my body. I got quite a bad back problem when I had the twins, probably because I was just on the couch breastfeeding like a little mummy cow. And so becoming fitter and healthier actually strengthened all my muscles. And I went, oh, and I loved it. Then you actually got an excuse to go, oh, I need to go in a little competition, and you got more time out because everyone thought you were amazing. So whatever it is, work those moments, and they will make you more fulfilled. They'll make you more tolerant of the challenging times, more resilient. And ultimately, then when that phase passes and you are the twin parent for life, you'll actually have this whole future that you go, you know what, I've been chipping away at this for a long time, and you'll just love it and you'll be thankful.
You're ready to step into it. It's the next natural step.
And
And
then
one
you'll
of
go,
the things as well, though, Annie, isn't it, like what you're describing there, by doing that and by honoring your dreams and taking the steps that you can manage at that time. You don't need to jump full force in. Just do what works for you and your family. But by doing that, you're also showing your children to that's possible, and inspiring others, and as you said, if you can do it, as it shows other people that it's possible. It really
there's a
does.
little story in my book, Karen, where when my kids were little, and I always used to walk around and go, Mum has high level managerial skills, and the kids would be like, No, you don't, mum. You're just a mum. And I'm like, no, I do. I believe it. I am. I'm going to be a manager because I'm going to be a CEO one day. And I used to just say it. I just speak it out, right? And it was ridiculous because I wasn't. I was young. I had all these kids. I had no money. And I'm like going, my future didn't look positive in that way to become a CEO of a top company. But I'm like, no. And I did so much that I even wrote it down and I put it on the fridge. It was this little affirmation was on my fridge for seriously 12 years. And then it was one day when one of the kids looked up at the couch and I'm walking around going, woohoo, look what mum's done today. Told you I had high level managerial skills. And one of the kids just looked at me and goes, and he just looked over it really casually. I think he must have been an early teen. And he goes, well, there's no doubting that, mum. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'd arrived and I didn't even realize I'd arrived. Because by then I was actually juggling ridiculous things, all their activities, and I was holding down a job as a national manager. And I still didn't see that because I believed that the dream was the result. I had to be the CEO. But actually, I'd come so far in a short period of time, and it was a stepping stone. So that's what it's like. Seriously, write your affirmations down, put them out to the universe, and you need to back yourself when others don't. You need to believe that it was put there for a purpose. For you. It doesn't have to be for anyone else, because that will actually be a real guiding force in your life.
Oh, there you've answered my next chapter, which was the learned wisdoms. There's all the learned wisdoms that you need, honestly, guys. One of the things in this book, just before we finish up, because we were supposed to be 25 minutes and we're over 30 now, but sure, it's all out the window.
Sorry, I'm a
We're just going with it now, embracing it. But Annie, one of the things that I love in your book is that for mums, and especially mums of twins, you share knowledge, you share lists, you share birth plan templates, safety checklists, new baby, all of these lists that are really beneficial to get ready and prepare for this, so that when your twins arrive, you're ready, you feel ready, and then it just flows, the craziness will start.
It's highly practical because that's how I am, right? How do you make it look easy? Because you've just got systems and processes in place. And I've learned those over 30 years. Like, I'm seriously army level trained now. I'm experienced. And I tell you what, if you're at that moment of, oh my gosh, I've just found out I'm having twins, and you go, oh, I don't know what I need. That's it. It's all put in the book. You've got what to buy, what you think you'll need. You don't need as much as everyone tells you need. Those little babies change sizes every 3 months, and you just go, oh my gosh. So you then become more proactive in what sizes people should buy you, and how to make it work for yourselves. Be demanding. I'd love you to help me. And so I really wanted to make sure that all the practical information, even what to ask when you're going to those obstetric visits, things that I had no idea. And you hope that they know everything, or they'll tell you things. Now I go, you know what, sweetheart, you should ask them this and this and this, and make it work for you. So hopefully it's super informative for you. That's my intent. My intent was to actually put a book out to the world that I would have loved reading when I was in that very moment. And and I'm pretty happy that I believe that it will do that for you.
Yeah, it is. I know that you're a giver, and you've shared your story so that it will help others on their journey. And you wrote this book quite a while ago, and that's what I always say to people: write the book when it's fresh in your mind. So you have written it, and then you've rewritten it again now for release, haven't you?
Mine is hilarious. Those listening in, when my twins, I think I was pregnant with my 5th baby, so my twins were in year 2 in kindergarten, and I was having so I had about 6 months of no children at home, and I was pregnant. And so of course, what did Annie do? I wrote a book on twins, and so I called it Double Trouble, Double Treat, and I wrote my own booklet, and I self-published it, and I was so proud of it, and it's hilarious now. It's really just a funny little booklet, but I obviously wanted, while it was fresh, I wanted, and I even drew my own little pictures and everything, and I was on the radio in a Mother's Day special and sold so many of them. It was quite amazing. But I actually had that, and I've kept it as a little treasure, and I gave all my kids one to put away in their lifelong box of this is Mum's big moment. And so it's always been on my heart. And so therefore, obviously when I connected with you, Karen, and I just went, you know what, one day I actually want to really do it properly. And therefore this has been the opportunity to do that. So that's it. That's another example of just lean into your empowered future. Put things down, write down ideas, journal. It's not lost. Sometimes things are just not now. Right. But if you nurture them, they'll suddenly reappear and go, oh my gosh, now is my season. my season to write that book, my season to go and, learn something new that I've always wanted to, whether it's guitar or a language or whatever. Those moments will come. So don't disregard them. I'm a big believer of just put it on your list. We need lists to do what we're doing, and you also want to have the future dreams list. And I tell you what, if you've written them down, you've done that for a purpose, and then at one stage in your life, you'll suddenly actualize them.
Yeah, you're activating them then, and then you actualize them when the time's right, isn't
Yeah.
it? And one of the things now, I don't have twins, but I absolutely needed to read your book, not only to get to know you better, but also there's so much in there for me. It's not only entertaining, it's intriguing. I see it as an amazing Netflix show because of all the dramas and all of it's really actually insightful and engaging and entertaining, your story. Annie, what would you think about that if it ended up on the big screen?
Oh my gosh! I think seriously, I would watch my life on a big screen, because it is really funny, right? Life is funny, with what we have navigated, like crazy. I have so many unlimited stories of just crazy things happening, and they were funny. They weren't funny when you're in them and you're stressed out. You've lost a child. One's gone missing. One's climbing a fence and he's too young to do so. Things are happening, but I think that's life, and I think we need to have more real, honest sharing, because it actually is comforting. We're so intimidated by others of what looks pretty, and beneath the pretty is real life, and that's where we actually are. That's where we reside. And so, yes, exactly, Netflix, if you'd like to write do a screen on my life story, I'm very happy to do that, because I think people would have a giggle, and I know all of you, who are at that stage having your own twins and just getting value from this book, will have your stories, and you'll giggle around with them, and I'll also love reconnecting with you and hearing your stories, because that's how we all learn and grow and support each other.
Do come and share your stories. We would love to hear them, really and truly, under our posts. But also, one of the biggest takeaways from this book, Annie, is that it's all okay. It will all be okay.
Yeah.
It may not feel it now, or see, but it will all be okay.
Yes. And if you're like me, ladies and gentlemen, like I had like 4 kids with chickenpox. Like you just sit there going, oh my gosh, our place looked like it had the plague. Like really. So they're crying, they're all thick, 40-degree temperatures. You're like going, oh my gosh, like how are we even going to survive? You'll have those days, but it'll all be okay, because then there's, a day or two later, you just write it out, do what you can. And then you'll just be, oh my gosh, we are the most blessed people ever. And we'll have these incredible moments and go, oh my gosh, we still are the chosen ones having these beautiful twins, So that's right. Everything will be okay, and it'll take its own time. And not only will it take its time for you and, your relationship, your family, it takes time for all of those little beings to grow into who they're being. And it's an absolute honor and a joy to be raising these beautiful little humans who will all be having their own little spirit. And we want to nurture that. We want them to just, get the best out of their lives that we've been able to give them.
Absolutely. And one thing I want to acknowledge before we finish up is that, you write the story and you birthed the children, but you and James are just so close and have done this all together. And you can see that shines through beautifully in the book, the partnership and how you work together to make it all come together. And for these moments to then become memories, that you can reflect back on. And so that's very powerful and very hopeful for other people as well, I believe.
It takes a village, and we've certainly been blessed. Like we're celebrating 35 years of marriage this year, and our journey has been hilarious. So we've gone from childhood sweethearts who were told we were too young to get married to now being, at the other end of going, we're just so solid, and we teamed up, and that was amazing for me because I had 2 sets of twins. You can't do it all, so it actually got us stronger. That I needed him actually, and I think sometimes with people with singletons, they can have that baby and not share them out or just do everything. And so in a weird way, it was incredible for our relationship. He's just a total rock, a total just beautiful man, and has been obviously, it takes a village, and it just definitely takes a team. And ours is really solid. But we've also invested in that, and it's required a lot of energy and things that we've put into our relationship that have really supported that. And of course, we'll all go through highs and lows and challenges. So if you don't have a partner, I strongly encourage you create your own tribe, you create your own support systems, because you do need others. And that's the other thing that I think we need to learn. You don't have to do it all yourself. A lot of it does, obviously, if you're in that feeding stage, but definitely where you can let people help you. I think that is a definite blessing. And James has written a chapter in the book, so make sure you read.
Oh yes, of course. Yeah. But that's the thing. It is teamwork, and it is, it's an experience together. And I loved reading how connected you were. It's beautiful. So Annie, because you now own your own biz tribe, and this is your story, people got to know you better, but you are a superwoman. Can we just say that, because you are, and you own it, and you help other women become superwomen? Can you share where everyone can find you?
Yeah, you can find me at womensbiztribe.com. And Women's Biz Tribe is basically a global collective of women who just come in to do business and life together. What do? I actually help them. I'm a success catalyst. That's what I call myself. I actually just make successful moments happen because of my lived experience, and I'm able to have them come into the tribe. We meet up, we connect, they do business coaching, life coaching, meet each other, learn from each other, and we've just created this beautiful incubator, really, of people who actually are ready to just be raw, authentic, honest as they are, share the highs and lows, help each other as women have a leg up, have opportunities that they would not have had before. Basically my desire through the Women's Biz Tribe is to actually just like do a little speed course up that success pathway. So although mine has actually been, the wide bow, not even starting with the degree that I wanted to, and having to do 3 degrees to get there in a man's world, and pushing these glass ceilings all the way. And while we're still challenging all of those areas, and I'm very committed to equity and equality and those sorts of things, through Women's Biz Tribe, I can actually go, it doesn't have to be that hard. Yes, things are challenging, and we're going to push for those, but actually a lot of things, when you connect and you collaborate over competition, when you just think with a global mindset, when you actually just show up authentically instead of pretending, I tell you what, you'll just skyrocket success, and you'll make things look effortless. You'll choose your battles, and we'll all have battles, but once you actually start intentionally choosing which ones you worry about, I tell you what, you'll just feel like you've just got so much more energy and excitement for life, because it allows you just to be putting your heart into the things that you love. And what's that going to be? It's going to be your family, your kids, your career, your relationships. I tell you what, and that's what we all want in life. That's what we want for our kids. When we birth those little baby twins, what do we want? I just wanted my kids to be happy, healthy human beings who are going to have the best life possible. And that's what we should be doing. That's the way we should be living our lives as adults. Sometimes we forget for ourselves, and I think it's really important. So come over to womensbiztribe.com and check us out, and I would love to meet you, and I'd love to hear your stories about where you're at on your twin journey. Also, send me a picture of you with the book. Send me a little happy snap. Tell me what the most exciting part of it, the most revealing part, what you learned from the book, what you identified with. I would love to have your feedback and to genuinely get to know you more personally.
Absolutely. Go over there to the Women's Biz Tribe, share your stories. But also, one thing I love that you help people get out of their own way. You help them remain super focused on their goals and shoo away all the fluff. Just dismiss all those things that are not, why are you even going there? That's not even a thing. Just focus on where you're going. Let's get you there, and let's do it together. Because when women come together and rise each other up, that's when the magic happens. It's a very special place you've created. So congratulations to you.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. That's the end of our interview with this amazing human. We are birthing this book today. One book. Yeah. Well, maybe soft cover and hardcover. Can we call that twins?
Yes.
So grab your copy if you want, no matter where you are in the world. If you go to www.kmdbooks.com/twins, you can find a copy that you can just click a button and just get it wherever you are. Okay, so go and get it. Get your selfies, send them to us. Come and share your stories, even if it's someone that you know's story. Come and share it, because the more stories that's being shared, the better. It helps us all to heal, to grow, to rise together and connect. Okay, everyone, thanks for watching. Bye, guys.
Bye.